Look, I've been stationed at the Galactic Combat Institute for 12 cycles now, and I thought I'd seen everything. My name is Vrax, and I'm a Thulian observer, which means I get paid to watch recruits from across 700 species try not to kill themselves during weapons training. It's not glamorous, but someone has to document the failures for the safety reports. That morning started like any other. The third rotation class filed into Training Arena 6, a motley collection of beings that included 4 Xanthari warriors, built like walking tanks, 3 Olean blade dancers, all grace and arrogance, 2 Krev shock troopers, and one single human. His name was Marcus Webb. Not some fancy multi-syllabled designation, not an honorific followed by a clan identifier. Just Marcus Webb. He looked frankly unimpressive. About 1.8 meters tall, maybe 70 kilograms if you counted his gear. Brown hair, brown eyes, wearing the standard issue training uniform that hung on him like he'd borrowed it from someone bigger. He had this habit of scratching the back of his neck when he was thinking, which made him look even less threatening. The Xanthari, particularly their squad leader Gormath, found this hilarious. "Hey, soft skin." Gormath's voice boomed across the arena floor, his 4 arms flexing in what passed for amusement among his kind. "Did you get lost on your way to the medical wing? They might need someone to organize bandages." The other Xanthari rumbled with laughter. Even a few of the Ulians who normally considered themselves above such crude humor allowed themselves amused chirps. Marcus just smiled. Not a nervous smile, not an angry smile. Just this weird, calm smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Nope," he said. "Right place, wrong assumption." Oh, I liked that. Snappy. The kid had spine, even if he looked like a stiff breeze might snap it. Instructor Kelvar, a retired Vortan combat master with scars that had scars, stomped into the arena. Kelvar didn't walk, he stomped. Every step was a declaration of violence. He was 3 meters of muscle, chitin and poorly suppressed rage at being stuck teaching instead of fighting. "Listen up." Kelvar's mandibles clicked together sharply. "Today we're testing reflexes, combat anticipation, and threat response. You will face the Sentinel blade test. The parameters are simple. I throw blades at you. You don't die. Question?" Gormath raised one of his 4 hands. "Instructor, will the soft skin be receiving training blades? Wouldn't want to damage him permanently on day 1. More laughter. Marcus kept scratching his neck, looking around the arena like he was counting ceiling tiles. Kelvar's eyes, all 6 of them, narrowed. The human gets the same test as everyone else. If he can't handle it, he shouldn't be here. Now, line up. Here's where it gets interesting. The Sentinel blade test isn't actually designed to kill you. It's designed to humiliate you. The blades are real, yes, sharp enough to cut through titanium alloy, but they're thrown with precision calculated to stop just short of contact, provided you don't flinch, don't dodge wrong, don't panic. The test measures how you handle the psychological pressure of incoming death while maintaining combat readiness. Most recruits fail spectacularly. Gormath went first, naturally. All 4 arms spread wide, chest puffed out. Kelvar threw 3 blades in rapid succession. Gormath caught the first 2, deflected the third with his forearm guard. Solid performance. He strutted back to the line, grinning at Marcus. The Ulians went next. Their approach was different, all flowing movements and calculated steps, repositioning themselves so the blades missed by design rather than chance. Elegant, effective, boring. If I'm being honest, the Krev troopers simply tanked the hits with their shield generators. Not impressive, but practical. Then came Marcus Webb. He walked to the center circle with his hands in his pockets. Actually in his pockets. Kelvar's mandibles twitched, which is Vortan for profound irritation. "Remove your hands from your pockets, recruit." "Right, sorry." Marcus pulled his hands out, let them hang loose at his sides. "Ready when you are, sir." Kelvar grabbed a blade. Not a training blade, I noticed. A real combat blade, the kind we use for advanced students. His throwing arm cocked back. Now, I've seen Kelvar throw approximately 9,000 times. He has 3 speeds. Fast. Faster. And did that actually happen? Did that actually happen on Mark? The blade screamed through the air, spinning end over end, aimed directly at Marcus's throat. Standard Sentinel protocol called for the recruit to dodge, block, or catch. Marcus did none of these things. His right hand moved. Not fast, not slow, just moved. And the blade, which had been traveling at roughly 150 kilometers per hour, just stopped, froze, completely motionless. 1 millimeter from his fingertip. Dead silence in the arena. The blade hung there, suspended in midair, not touching Marcus. Not falling, not doing anything blades are supposed to do when they're not being held. It just existed in that impossible space between his fingers and oblivion. What the? Gormath's voice trailed off. Kael'var's eyes widened. All 6 of them. How are you doing that? Marcus tilted his head, studying the floating blade like it was a mildly interesting insect. Doing what, sir? The blade. How are you holding it without touching it? Oh. Marcus reached out, plucked the blade from the air like picking fruit. It moved normally now, obeying physics again. I'm not holding it. I just asked it to stop. You could have heard a pin drop. Actually, you could have heard the thought of a pin drop. You asked it. Kael'var repeated slowly. Well, more like suggested very firmly. Marcus examined the blade, turning it over in his hands. Nice balance. Military-grade vanadium core with a crystalline edge. Good choice. I was writing this down as fast as my datapad would allow. This was either the most elaborate prank in GCI history or something genuinely unprecedented. Kael'var threw another blade. Faster this time. Angrier. Marcus didn't even look at it. His left hand drifted up, palm out, and the blade stopped again. Just froze mid-spin, hovering 15 centimeters from his hand. He continued examining the first blade like nothing was happening. Interesting weight distribution, he murmured. Weighted for tumbling throws, but the grip suggests it's meant for close combat too. Versatile. The second blade clattered to the floor. Stop doing that. Kael'var roared. That's not possible. Which part, sir? Marcus finally looked up, genuinely confused. The stopping part, or the examining part? The stopping part. Blades don't just stop. Respectfully, sir. They just did. Twice. Gormath stepped forward. All 4 fists clenched. This is some kind of trick. Hidden magnetic fields. Gravitic manipulations, something. Humans don't have powers. Marcus smiled again. That same calm smile. You're absolutely right. We don't have powers. We just have practice. Practice at what? I found myself calling out, immediately regretting breaking observer protocol. But come on. This was insane. Marcus turned to me, and for just a second I saw something in his eyes. Something old. Something that had seen things I couldn't imagine. Then it was gone, and he was just a goofy-looking recruit again. Practice at surviving places where everything wants to kill you, he said simply. When you grow up dodging things that move faster than bullets, regular blades seem kind of slow. Kael'var picked up 6 blades. Let's test that claim. He threw all 6 simultaneously. Different angles, different speeds, different rotations. It was a master class in weaponized precision, and it should have been absolutely impossible to defend against without proper equipment or abilities. Marcus yawned. I'm not exaggerating. He actually yawned. Mid-attack. Then his hands moved. Both of them synchronized but independent, creating patterns in the air that looked almost choreographed. Every blade stopped, all 6, frozen at various distances from his body, creating this bizarre constellation of suspended death around him. He plucked them from the air one by one like harvesting particularly aggressive apples, and walked them over to Kael'var's weapons rack, set them down neatly, returned to the center circle. Anything else, sir? Kael'var's mandibles worked silently for a solid 10 seconds. Finally, well, sir, it's mostly about predicting trajectory, calculating force dispersion, and applying counter pressure at the quantum level. Oh, and breathing. Breathing's important. You'd be surprised how many people forget to breathe during these tests. Humans can manipulate quantum fields? I heard myself ask. No, Marcus said cheerfully. But we can observe them collapsing in real time and occasionally suggest alternative outcomes. It's complicated. My mother tried to explain it once, but I fell asleep during the technical bits. And something about consciousness affecting probability at the Planck scale. Mostly I just think really hard at things until they cooperate. Gormath was turning an interesting shade of purple, which meant he was either embarrassed or about to attempt violence. Based on his species psychology, probably both. This is a fraud, he bellowed. Some kind of human trickery. I demand a real test. Kael'var's eyes gleamed. Oh no. I knew that gleam. That was his terrible idea, gleam. Very well, he said slowly. Recruit Webb, would you be willing to participate in a practical combat demonstration? Marcus scratched his neck again. Define demonstration, sir. Full contact sparring. You versus Gormath. First to yield or incapacitation. The entire arena went quiet again. Gormath had 40 kilograms on Marcus' 4 arms instead of 2. bone density 3 times higher, and reflexes honed through generations of warrior culture. This wasn't a test. This was sanctioned murder. Marcus looked at Gormath, looked at Kelvar, looked at me, shrugged. Sure, why not? I could use the exercise. Gormath smiled, showing way too many teeth. I'm going to enjoy this soft skin. Probably, Marcus agreed. Though maybe not the way you're thinking. They moved to the combat circle, a 15-meter diameter ring marked in the arena floor. Gormath immediately dropped into a fighting stance, all 4 arms positioned for maximum strike capability. Marcus just stood there, hands at his sides, looking relaxed. Kelvar raised 1 claw. Standard Institute rules. No killing, no permanent maiming, no strikes to reproductive organs. Begin. Gormath charged. Now, Zenthari combat doctrine emphasizes overwhelming force. They don't do subtle. Gormath came in like a freight train loaded with smaller, angrier freight trains, all 4 fists driving toward Marcus's center mass. Marcus stepped left. Just stepped. Gormath's fists hit nothing but air. The big warrior spun, faster than something his size should move, launching a spinning backhand that should have taken Marcus's head off. Marcus ducked. Casual. Easy. Like avoiding a low-hanging branch. Gormath roared, frustration bleeding into his technique. He threw a combination 12 strikes in rapid succession, each one capable of denting reinforced steel. Marcus weaved between them, not blocking, not deflecting, just not being where the fists were. He looked almost bored. Stand still, Gormath bellowed. That seems counterproductive, Marcus replied, dodging another haymaker. The fight, if you could call it that, continued for another minute. Gormath attacking with increasing desperation, Marcus avoiding with decreasing effort. Finally, Gormath, breathing hard and clearly exhausted. Why won't you fight back? He demanded. Marcus tilted his head. You want me to fight back? Yes. Okay. Marcus moved. Actually moved. Not avoiding anymore. Attacking. I couldn't follow it. Literally couldn't follow it. 1 second he was 3 meters away, the next he was inside Gormath's guard. His fist, just his regular human fist, tapped Gormath's chest. A gentle tap. A love tap. The kind of tap you'd use to get someone's attention. Gormath flew backward 6 meters and hit the arena wall hard enough to crack the reinforced polymer. Every jaw in the room dropped. Mine included. Marcus walked over, extended a hand. You okay? Gormath stared at the hand like it was a venomous serpent. What? What did you do? Kinetic redirection with a touch of momentum borrowing. Took your forward energy, added mine, sent it back through your center of gravity. Basic stuff, really. My kid's sister can do it. She's not. Gormath, to his credit, took the hand. Marcus hauled him to his feet with ease that suggested the strength differential was way more complicated than muscle mass indicated. Your sister can do that. Well, she's not as precise. Last week she accidentally knocked over our storage shed. Dad was annoyed. Marcus grinned. But she's learning. Kelvar approached slowly, like Marcus might explode. Recruit Webb. I think we need to have a conversation about your training background. Sure thing, sir. Though fair warning, you probably won't believe most of it. Try me. Marcus scratched his neck. Well, where I come from, we call it Earth. Some folks call it other things. Death World. Nightmare Sphere. The place where physics went wrong and evolution took it personally. Personally, I just call it home. So there we were, standing in Training Arena 6, staring at Marcus Webb like he'd just announced he was made of antimatter. Kelvar's mandibles clicked rapidly, which I'd learned meant he was processing something that broke his understanding of reality. Earth, Kelvar repeated carefully. You're telling me you're from one of those Category 12 worlds? Marcus brightened. Oh, you've heard of us.
Yeah, Category 12.
Though honestly, I always thought that rating system was a bit harsh. I mean, sure, 98% of our planet's surface will kill you if you're not careful, but the other 2% is lovely. Great beach, terrible riptides that'll drag you out to sea where the sharks are, but great beach. I was scribbling frantically. This was gold. Pure documentary gold. Gormath was still leaning against the wall, looking at Marcus with a mixture of respect and existential horror. Sharks, ocean predators, about 4 to 6 meters long, mostly teeth and murder. They can smell blood from 5 kilometers away, used to be apex predators, until humans figured out how to swim faster and punch harder. Now they mostly avoid us. Smart fish. Sharks. You punch sharks? One of the Ulians asked weakly. Only when they're rude, Marcus said cheerfully. Most of them have learned manners by now. There was this one time in Australia though. My buddy Jake got into an argument with a great white about territorial boundary. Long story short, Jake won. The shark learned some humility and we all had a barbecue. Well, not the shark. The shark just left. Kael'var held up a claw. Stop. Just stop. You're telling me that humans routinely engage in physical combat with apex predators for recreational purposes? Well, not routinely. Sometimes we do it for science. Or fishing. Or because the predator started it. Marcus paused, thinking. Actually, yeah, pretty routinely now that I say it out loud. I never really thought about it before. I had so many questions. What about the blade stopping thing? The quantum field manipulation you mentioned? Marcus's expression shifted, became more serious. Right. So, fun fact about Earth. Our electromagnetic field is weird. Like properly weird. Solar radiation, cosmic rays, weird mineral deposits, something in the water. Nobody's entirely sure, but growing up there you develop this sort of sensitivity to energy fields. Most humans can feel them subconsciously. Some of us learn to do more than feel. Define more, Kael'var demanded. Well, like I said, it's about observing quantum collapse. Everything exists in probability states until observed. Right? Basic physics. But human consciousness, especially Earth-trained human consciousness, tends to observe really loudly. We don't just watch things happen, we sort of participate in the happening. So when that blade came at me, I observed it stopping. Strongly. And probability went along with it. The silence that followed was the kind of silence that happens when everyone's brain simultaneously blue screens. Finally, Gormath spoke. That's not possible. That would require consciousness to directly affect physical matter. That would mean you're essentially reality warpers. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, ancestors. No. We're not that powerful. We can't create matter or violate conservation of energy or anything crazy. We can just nudge things. Suggest alternatives. It's like the universe is having a conversation about what should happen next, and we occasionally chime in with opinions. Usually the universe listens. Sometimes it tells us to shut up and hits us with lightning. Lightning? I asked. Yeah, Earth has a lot of lightning. Atmospheric electrical discharge. Happens when you piss off storm clouds. I got hit once when I was 14. Hurt like hell, but it gave me this cool scar pattern. He pulled up his sleeve, revealing branching scars that looked like tree roots made of light. My mom was furious. Not because I got struck by lightning, but because I was supposed to be studying and was instead trying to surf during a hurricane. Every single being in that arena was reassessing their life choices. I could see it in their faces. Eyes. Optical sensors. Whatever. One of the Krev troopers raised a tentacle. Question. If humans are this dangerous, why are there so few of you in the Institute? We have hundreds of species represented. I've only ever met 3 humans. Marcus's expression darkened slightly. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Earth's government is really careful about who they let off-world. They have these tests, psychological evaluations, control assessments, cultural sensitivity training. Takes years. Most humans don't pass, not because they're not capable, but because Earth is so dangerous that our normal behavior terrifies everyone else. Example? Kael'var asked. Okay. So, last year a human cargo hauler named Victoria stopped at station Kelix 9 for refueling. While she was there, a plasma conduit ruptured in the station's lower ring. Standard procedure is to evacuate that section and wait for specialized repair teams. Victoria just walked into the rupture zone, still in her regular clothes, found the breach, and held the 2 broken conduit sections together with her bare hands for 40 minutes while the repair team got their equipment sorted. That's impossible, one of the Ulians said. Plasma conduits operate at temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees. The radiation alone would kill most species instantly. Yep, Marcus agreed. Victoria got pretty badly burned. Spent 3 days in medical regeneration. When they asked her why she did it, she said, and I quote, "People were in danger and I had hands." Station security banned all humans from Kelix 9 after that, said we were an insurance liability. Gormath shook his head slowly. Your species is insane. We prefer determined, Marcus corrected. Insane implies we don't know what we're doing. We absolutely know what we're doing. We just have different opinions about acceptable risk levels than most folks. Kael'var's expression had shifted from irritation to something that might have been respect. Might have been fear. Possibly both. Recruit Webb, I'm reassigning you to advanced combat protocols, effective immediately. You're clearly beyond standard training. Sir, I appreciate that, but I actually kind of need the standard training. I'm good at not dying, but I'm terrible at following orders and working in teams. That's why I'm here, to learn discipline and cooperation, my commanding officer back home said, and I quote, Webb, you fight like a natural disaster. Effective but unpredictable. Learn to be a soldier, not a catastrophe. I couldn't help but laugh. The human was volunteering for remedial training. Kelvar considered this. Very well, but you'll participate in both standard rotation and advanced sessions. I want to see what you're actually capable of. Fair enough, sir. Dismissed. All of you, except you, Webb. We need to discuss safety protocols. The other recruits filed out, whispering among themselves. I lingered, because observer privileges and also because I wasn't missing this. Once the arena cleared, Kelvar turned to Marcus. Serious question. Can all humans do what you do? Marcus scratched his neck. Define all. Most humans have some degree of enhanced capability compared to galactic standard. Faster reflexes, higher pain tolerance, better pattern recognition, that kind of thing. But the quantum observation stuff. Maybe 10% of the population, and most of them can't do it consciously. It just sort of happens when they're stressed. What happens? Remember Victoria and the plasma conduit? She didn't decide to be heat resistant. She just needed to be, so her body kind of insisted to physics that she was. Temporary probability adjustment. Wore off after the crisis ended, which is why she got burned. If she'd been conscious of the process, she could have maintained it longer. Kelvar sat down heavily on a training bench. For a 3-meter-tall warrior to look exhausted takes some doing. This explains so much about human military reports. The Battle of Terminus Gap. The Siege of Velkor Station. The incident at the Void's Edge. We thought those accounts were exaggerated. Oh, those. Marcus winced. Yeah, humans have a tendency to pull off statistically impossible victories when we're cornered. It's not that we're better fighters necessarily. We're just really stubborn and reality gets tired of arguing with us. I watched footage of Terminus Gap, Kelvar said quietly. 40 humans held off 3,000 Kreth shock troops for 6 days. The analysts said it was impossible. The math didn't work. Math's negotiable when you're properly motivated, Marcus replied. Those 40 humans had families on that station. Children. When you're protecting your kids, you don't accept impossible. You just don't. I was writing furiously. This was unprecedented material. So what brings you here, Marcus Webb? I asked, finally using my voice. Why join the Galactic Combat Institute if Earth is so careful about off-world humans? Marcus's smile was sad. Because the galaxy's getting dangerous. Really dangerous. There are threats coming that most species aren't ready for. Pirates, slavers, and worse things in the dark between stars. Earth's government decided we need to be part of the galactic community, not isolated from it. But we need to learn to work with other species, not just protect ourselves. So they're sending carefully selected humans to institutions like this. Teachers and students both. Teachers? Kelvar asked. You think I'm here just to learn? Marcus's grin returned. Sir, with respect, I'm here to show the galaxy what humans can do when we're on your side. 'Cause the things we do to protect ourselves, we'll do that for our friends too. And the galaxy needs friends right now. A chill ran through my sensory frills. This human recruit, this unimpressive-looking kid, was essentially saying that humanity was preparing for war. Not against the galaxy but for it. What threats? I heard myself ask. Marcus's eyes went distant. There are things in the dark that even humans fear. The Devourers. The Silence. The things that ate the progenitor races and might come back for seconds. Earth scientists detected probability fluctuations at the galactic rim. Something big is waking up. Something old, and when it gets here, everyone's going to need to know how to fight like their lives depend on it. Because they will. Kelvar finished. Because they will. Marcus agreed. The arena felt suddenly colder, bigger, more empty. Kelvar stood, his full height imposing. Then I suppose we'd better make sure you learn those teamwork skills quickly. If what you're saying is true, we don't have time for slow training. No, sir. We don't. Good. Report to Advanced Combat Protocols tomorrow at dawn. And Webb, sir? Thank you for the warning. And for not breaking Gormith too badly. He's arrogant. But he's a good soldier. Marcus smiled. He's got heart. All 4 of his hearts. He just needs to learn that size isn't everything. Speed and precision beat raw power every time. Spoken like someone who is both, I observed. Spoken like someone who grew up on a planet where everything bigger than you wanted to eat you, and everything smaller wanted to poison you, and the weather wanted to kill everyone equally. Marcus corrected. You learn or you die. Most of us learn. He walked toward the exit, paused, turned back. Paused, turned back. Oh, and Vrax? Your reports are probably going to sound crazy. Nobody's going to believe half of what you saw today. But keep writing. Documentation matters. When the galaxy needs to understand what humans are capable of, your records will help them prepare instead of panic. He knew my name. I'd never introduced myself. Observer protocols kept me anonymous. How did you know my name? Marcus tapped his temple. Enhanced pattern recognition. Remember? I read your ID badge from 30 meters away when you were taking notes. Upside down, through your datapad's reflection. Also, you mutter your name when you're writing. Subvocalization. It's a common habit. He left before I could respond. Kelvar and I stood in the empty arena for a long moment. We're not ready, Kelvar said finally. The galaxy's not ready for humans, and if Webb is right, we're definitely not ready for what's coming. No, I agreed. But maybe that's why they're here, the humans. To get us ready, by teaching us to catch blades with our minds, by teaching us that impossible is just a starting point. Kelvar's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement, might have been resignation. Well then, I suppose we'd better pay attention. Class is in session. I looked at my datapad, at the thousands of words I'd written, at the documentation of something that would change how the galaxy viewed humanity forever. Marcus was right. Nobody would believe this, but I'd keep writing anyway. Because when the impossible became necessary, someone needed to have written down how it was done, and somewhere on a distant Category 12 death world called Earth, millions of humans just like Marcus Webb were living their normal lives, casually defying physics, punching sharks, arguing with storms, and preparing to teach the galaxy that survival wasn't about being the strongest. It was about being too stubborn to quit.